WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. Spring has sprung. Let's see, we got baseball going on, playoff sports. We're all into the NFL draft. And as you know, I am always up for a good show this time of year. And thankfully, my partners at the Modell Lyric have us covered here. Doobie Brothers coming into town next week. My wife wants to go see Derek Hoff. I definitely going to see Britt Floyd and Frank Zappa. And here to join us from the Modell Lyric, you always hear me talking about the shows and see me put pictures up. Sometimes they're a little more blurry from the back, and sometimes they're up front. You're like, how do you get those seats? It's because I know Jonathan Schwartz at the Modell Lyric. He is the guy that puts everything together, and certainly one of our partners in crime here for all we're doing for the community. You know, John, I always tell you about this, and I tell my wife every time I walk in there, I either remember the Prince show I saw there, or I think of taking a yellow school bus with Mr. Hinson from Colgate Elementary in the 1970s to your place. And now that I'm partners with you, yeah, Bill Maher's there, and JoJo Tsai was there, and you got the Marvin Gaye Pride and Joy thing going on. But more than anything, you still sort of do that with the community in schools, right? Like, your theater's known at night for being there, but during the day, you're always doing stuff. And I guess I didn't realize that till I got to know you a little bit.
Well, thank you, Nestor, for having me on, and definitely working with the students and people of Baltimore is critical to our mission to be a world-class entertainment venue that's a part of our world-class community here in Baltimore. We have partnerships with several schools, including the Henderson Hopkins School and the Baltimore Leadership School for Young Women. We do programs at Greenmount West and other locations throughout the city. Our real passion is to make sure that we are making a difference in Baltimore. It's not enough to just be a building in the middle of the city. We, as the Lyric Foundation, from our board through our staff, want to make sure that we are making a positive difference in Baltimore and being positive about Baltimore, and bringing students to our building is one of the ways we do that, going out to schools and working with our students to get them interested in arts, to give them a voice. Sometimes young people don't feel that they have a voice, but through the arts you can certainly help them to be able to speak and to learn to communicate and to make themselves heard. So that's really, really important to us, in addition to obviously providing the outstanding shows for the community to come see at the Modell Lyric.
You know, when I would go there as a kid, I'd look up on the walls and I'd see, was it Brahms, Tchaikovsky? And this is how we sort of learned about the conductors. How many of those are still up there? Is it 8, 10? How many of those names? Those names, to me, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet to look them up. I would literally look them up in the encyclopedia just to figure out who they were. And then I found out, like, oh, they've been dead a couple hundred years and they're not like, Aerosmith.
Well, one of the amazing things about this building is the historic theater was built in 1894. Actually, later on this year will be the 125th birthday of the theater. So we have been continuously having performances for almost 125 years, which is remarkable.
1894. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, I would not have gotten that right. Like, and you're my sponsor. If you'd have said to me, I'd have said maybe it was built in the 30s or 40s. And then literally, that's what I would have thought, because I've only known about it since the 70s.
Yeah, well, you weren't alive in 1894, and neither was I. So the amazing thing about this building is how it has continued to maintain its relevance in the city, providing popular entertainment. I mean, this building was built with acoustics designed when they did not have amplification, that the singer or the performer would be up on that stage. There were probably oil lights or gas lights or whatever was lighting the venue. It was a totally different world. In fact, some of the history of the building is that the floor of where the seating is on the ground floor was removable back in the day, and people used to have boxing, or they would be debutante balls, or all sorts of things. If you ever go back into the history of this building, there's all sorts of amazing things that have occurred. And I think one of the great strengths of this building is that while, obviously tastes have changed and times have changed, and we've kept up with those, this history, this continuous chain of Baltimore people coming to this Baltimore venue is unbroken for nearly 125 years. Capacity
right around 2,500. The Modell Lyric is our partner. Since 1894, I didn't know. I'm going to start saying that. The People's Theater is what I'll say. Lots of great shows coming up. I had some time with Tom Johnston from the Doobie Brothers. You can hear that in the BuyItToyota.com audio vault. Derek Hough on the 16th of April. Alvin Ailey in the American Dance Theater. I mean, that's something that's sort of eternal, coming every year. Britt Floyd on May 2nd, for those of you who love the sounds of Pink Floyd. And I don't know, you got to tell me what the Frank Zappa thing is, because I've read about these holograms and I've seen them on television, on video, but I've never been in a room where this happens. Did you not have like an Elvis thing like this a couple years ago? Am I nuts?
They did have an Elvis thing a couple of years ago, and this is another group that's, I guess this is a new way that people can connect with artists who have music that is still relevant, but unfortunately the artist is not here to tour with them, so they have great bands, and people still love the music, and this is a 21st century way of allowing you to feel a part of something that you wouldn't be part of anymore unless you had a time machine.
Well, the tribute shows are everywhere. I mean, I see the Zeppelin bands, and there's a David Bowie guy that's touring around live on Mars. I saw that. David Bowie's not coming back. If you want to go see him, you got to go see him. That's part of the reason I run around these days and see Billy Joel and Bob Seger and John Mellencamp, who was at your place, because it is sort of a one-time offer. These artists being alive, it all felt very eternal to me 20 or 30 years ago. Now with Tom Petty and, crazy things happening. I mentioned Prince already. I mean, Glenn Frey. I saw Don Henley last Friday night singing with Stevie Nicks up in New York, and I had never seen Stevie Nicks. So, part of this is getting out and seeing these bands while they're relevant, like the Doobie Brothers. Jonathan Schwartz is here. He is the executive director of all things Modell Lyric. They are our partner here at WNST.net. A full calendar at modell-lyric.com. Did you see the hologram thing? I've never seen a hologram show.
I have not seen a hologram show. I'm interested to see. I've heard great things about it. I know that's one of those shows that you want to make sure you get good seats so that you have a good angle to see the hologram. But the music, if you're a Frank Zappa fan and you love Frank Zappa or you like Frank Zappa, what a chance to be with other fans. I think that's one of the things that people love about coming to shows is that community of people who have that shared passion for an artist or a shared passion for dance or whatever it is you're coming to see here. That shared passion, and for everyone in that room, with all the craziness in our world, it all melts away outside. When you come in, you're with a group of people who all want to see the same thing and are all entertained and have the same taste and are just there to have a great time, and we're happy to have them here and host that in Baltimore.
I have never had more fun than my wife and I had at the Delphonics, singing Delphonics songs with Rudy. So, did not blow your mind that? Yeah, absolutely.
They were great.
Diana Ross, everybody's calling you for tickets for that, right?
Yeah, Diana Ross is very exciting to have her back in our building. She was here a couple years ago, and obviously when you were just talking about legends who you want to make sure you see while still available. I mean, she's not getting any younger, but she puts on a tremendous show and has continually been touring for years and years and has so many amazing hits and so many amazing classics. Someone like Diana Ross, it's some bands you see and you're like, there are 4 or 5 songs you want to hear, but you're not sure about the others. Everything that she's going to perform has been a massive hit in this country, and you'll know the songs, and she's a legend and a legendary performer, and I think it'll be a great night for Baltimore.
Wow, I'm looking at her set list here. I mean, I got to come to that show. I'm looking down I've never seen Diana Ross. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of artists, and I'm trying to, click off some bucket list things. Like, I had never seen Stevie Nicks solo. I made that happen last week. But here's something that you're going to think's a little bizarre that I'm going to want to see. I was a huge Marvin Gaye fan. And you know how varied I am. This Pride and Joy musical, a couple of days in the middle of June coming in. I saw the other day, Marvin Gaye was murdered 35 years ago this week. It was 1984. And we all remember the national anthem that he did before he passed at the All-Star Game, NBA All-Star Game. This is going to be a cool event. You don't get, as many musicals, right? I mean, there's a staging thing about Broadway and the way your theater was built many, many moons ago that is just sort of not built to be as grand as, bringing in Cats in 2019, right?
Well, we do have our stage is great actually for musicals. We have all the rigging and all the production you need. We've focused, every venue focuses a little differently. And it's not something that we do as much as we used to, but we've had Annie in the building not so long ago. We had The Wizard of Oz in the building. So we have had touring musicals in the building. And this one was really special for us because it combines, people think of us a lot for the music that we put on, and it's certainly the Marvin Gaye musical is going to be about the songs. It's about his life, but he has such an amazing catalog of hits and songs. Another one who unfortunately isn't with us anymore, but his songs are eternal. How many people do cover songs of Marvin Gaye? How many bands still say that he's a major influence on them? So I think that chance to hear those songs, hear his story, And to do that in a great historic theater, I think it's going to be a wonderful week for Baltimore, and I think we're going to have some great audiences who'll be enthusiastic. And how can you not have a great time listening to Marvin Gaye music?
Yeah, June 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. It's at the Modell Lyric. You can learn more at modell-lyric.com. I will 1,000,000% be at one of those shows for sure. And let's have a little fun now because I hit you about 6 months ago. One of my friends had a daughter. And when the JoJo Siwa event went on sale, I took on a little water and I said, John, I'm going to need a little help here. You know, I got a friend, needs some tickets. And I'm not sure that my friend even knew how to pronounce it. He said, I need this JoJo and I said, yeah. I know her. I had her on my show at the Super Bowl last year. One of my publicist buddies, you know, I go to the Super Bowl and I have 100 different guests on during the week. He said, you got to have this girl on from Nickelodeon. She's a superstar. I promise you it'll be the biggest thing you do during the course of that week. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got the press release, and she's such a, you know, energetic young lady, and her mom was with her. She's got a great story, and she's just bubbling, and you can't help but fall in love with the girl. And I did not know how to pronounce her name, so I had to find out that it was Siwa. So when I had her on, if you can go Google it, you can look at it on YouTube and watch me sit with JoJo Siwa for 10 minutes and watch her smile and light up the room. But she's going to be there, and this is sort of like your sort of, you know, we mentioned Prince. This is the show you don't have tickets. So don't call John for tickets for JoJo Siwa, right?
No, absolutely not. This sold out like in the pre-sale. It was amazing. And you know, my children are older, so I do not have a child in the right demographic. The people who had children in the right demographic knew exactly who this person was and knew that they had to bring their daughters to see this show. It was amazing, the response. It's still amazing, the response that we get, and how many people have called. Like, oh, you have to help me. I'm like, I'm sorry. It's completely sold out, but it shows the diversity of programming that we have here, that you're going to have Bill Maher on, you know, 3 days before her, and Marvin Gaye musical 3 days after her, at our venue. So we'll have, you know, it's a great thing, and she's someone who's incredibly popular, YouTube famous and Nickelodeon famous, and as you said, you know, you have her as someone who you've had on in your audio vault, and it's just an amazing, some of these performers. There's so many people out there who are so popular, and it's just hard to keep up with all of them.
Jonathan Schwartz here from the Modell Lyric. Last thing for you. You know, I'm a comedy guy. I was there for George Lopez. We had George on the show. If you can hook up Bill Maher on a call in, I'm all for that. He's coming in on June 9. Also, some more comedy. Eddie B coming down. Plenty of laughs at the Modell Lyric over the years. I remember one night my wife and I saw Cat Williams there, and that's still memorable all these years later. We saw Robin Williams at the Modell Lyric. How about that? And I also, I'm trying to think, there was one other great comedy show I saw there. I had mine a minute ago. I lost it, but it'll come back. It'll be funny when it gets back. But the comedy acts, I mean, there aren't a whole lot of comedians who sell 2,500 tickets, right? I mean, it's thought to be more of a club thing, but the big comics want to play your place.
Yes, so we're very fortunate. We've had some amazing comedy performances from the Dave Chappelle's, Jim Gaffigan in the last year. We just had Joe Coy here who sold out the venue. And so, yeah, we have this exciting comedy weekend where we have Eddie B., his I'm Already Professionally Developed tour. He does a lot of teacher humor, and we always attract, you know, it's the end of the school year. And
he's a sensation, right? I mean, he was unbelievable. Yeah. Teacher telling jokes, and now look at him, right? Now he's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's touring the country. He's amazing. And then obviously Bill Maher the next night. People will be a slightly more political show than Eddie B will be, and he will be, you know what you're getting with Bill Maher. It's going to be funny. He's got how many years of experience? I mean, he's a seasoned performer who's had an HBO show for many, many years.
I just hope he's not making Oriole jokes by June 9th. That's all. I mean, we've gotten off to a decent start, you know. I mean, leave the Orioles alone on June 9th, Bill.
There you go. Let's hope that Baltimore is in a positive light, and that he's Baltimore positive on June 9th.
Well, I was going to say to you, you know, every time I hear Marvin Gaye saying, "What's going on?" You know, I'm like, yeah, what's going on? You know, it's been a week around here in Baltimore, Maryland for mayors and other things. I hope everybody is following our Baltimore positive mission, and part of that is partnering with great people. More great people in my life. That's a theme for 2019. Jonathan Schwartz, Nicoletta, Rudy, all of our friends down there at the Modell Lyric. I want you to go visit them and learn a little bit more about the Modell Lyric. It's one of our partners, which is what we try to do around here. I mean, in the next month, rock and roll, dance, rise together, praise over Baltimore. That's on April 18th. Alvin Ailey dance, Britt Floyd doing classic rock, Frank Zappa doing classic rock. Rock, Eddie B and Bill Maher doing comedy, JoJo Siwa, you can't get tickets, so don't ask, but your kid's going to love it. And, of course, musicals of Marvin Gaye and Diana Ross is coming in. It's all at the Modell Lyric. You can learn more at modell-lyric.com. John, love you. Appreciate all you guys do for us up there at the Modell Lyric. Make sure you save me some space because, you know, with with the WOW Airlines going down and my wife and I not going over to Europe and Mick Jagger canceling most of my spring and summer, I have a lot of free time in my calendar now, not just for Baltimore Positive, but to get down to the Modell Lyric. So I'm going to be bothering you more than often. And tell Rudy if he wants to sing Endless Love with me when Diana Ross is in, we can do a duet together, all right? So tell him Delphonics worked well. We're going to sing together at Diana Ross. That's a goal of mine in June.
That'd be great, and I encourage all of your listeners to go to the modell-lyric.com website to not only see the great shows, but become a member of the Modell Lyric. And for your membership, one of the great things you get is you get pre-sale opportunities, so you'll know what's coming before everyone else does and make sure you don't get shut out on shows that you want to see.
Give some love to our friends at the Modell Lyric. Come on downtown. It's okay in Baltimore. We are Baltimore Positive, and along with our friends at the Modell Lyric and many other sponsors banding together, we're going to be launching a new web platform called Baltimore Positive, along with my dear friend Don Moeller. We'll be telling you more about that as the month moves on. Baseball, football, NFL draft, Final Four. We got it all going on around here. You can find me out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking great Baltimore stuff.